Okay, let's start. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to see you here with me. And I'm so happy that you joined me, and I hope we'll have a good time together. Let's start. So, I want you to imagine the first time you met a friend at kindergarten. You were a kid, you played maybe outside, maybe you met within the kindergarten. And I want you to imagine you and him or her and that talk you have, the way you talk to each other and the way you talk, you relate to each other. And just imagine you're yourself as a kid. And then I want you to imagine that you're growing up and you're in high school, and imagine your favorite teacher and maybe what she said and maybe what she taught you. And then you can just imagine how was her lesson and what was the things that you heard from her. And then I want you to imagine maybe you have a kid and maybe he already or she already talked. What was the first word? So from all these memories and imagination, you probably don't remember the exact time that you said to this kid, let's be friends, or what was the exact things that this teacher taught you, or maybe even what was the exact word that that your kid told you for the first time. But you do remember what are the emotions that were inside you when you talked to this person and when you heard these words. So actually language is what makes us human. We convey ideas, we convey our thoughts, we build things together, we understand things, and language is what makes us human in a very deep sense. But we're not only conveying information to each other. While talking, the words are carriers of our emotions and our the deep meaning of what we want to convey to each other. So we're not only just communicating with the essence of the content, we're relating to the meaning and the relationship that we'll build while talking to each other. And it's not only when we talk to other people, it's the same while we're using the devices and Alexa and Siri and so forth. So it's the same thing for us. So our relationship with machines have already been like for ages, we thought about connecting to devices, connected to robots, maybe to other AIs, and maybe talking to them really freely and naturally. So for us, it's something that we thought about really, really long ago. But only in the last few years, we can really relate to these devices and talk to them freely and without even thinking about it. We're just talking to them as other people, and we're not only getting information from it. So hi, I'm Mazor Kario, and I help companies reinvent the value that they offer to their clients and create innovative, successful products, and some of them are in voice. And today I'm going to talk to you as a voice UX expert, so I hope you'll enjoy that. So in the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk about the connection, the emotional connection with these devices or AI. We're going to talk about the power of emotion, what can we do with it? How can we design this connection well? And what will be maybe the future of this connection between us and the machines and the AI? So I want to tell you a story a friend told me about half a year ago. He moved apartments and they moved everything, and his little kid, she was 6 years old. She told me, will Alexa come with us? And she related to her as another roommate coming with them to their new apartment. And she told him, I love Alexa, we have to take her. And he connected all the devices with Alexa, and for him it was like another device that you're moving, but for her it's like a friend. And I think many people have this connection, and you see sometimes when you talk to this device and he answers, you say thank you, although he will say the same thing if you even you don't say thank you, you know. We're relating to it like a person. And anytime that we hear a voice, we are built and our brain is built in order to really relate to it as a person. So most of our lives, when we heard a voice, we know that there is someone, and we need to really quickly understand, is he like, is he against us? Is he with us? Is he friendly? Maybe he's aggressive. So we need to really understand who is in front of us, and we always assign a personality to it. So we always say, this is this person, and maybe we need to protect ourselves or to communicate really freely with him. So we know how to do it really easily, and this is what we're able to do. And it doesn't matter if we talk to a friend or we talk to a device. So people are thinking about talking to someone and not to something. And it's always an emotional experience when we talk to someone. It doesn't matter if we're even not that emotional talking to him, but it's an experience of the emotion, not only the content of what we're saying. And when we're talking to devices, this is how we relate to this experience. So we know that when people were asked about a year ago, who is a woman tech leader, many of them said Alexa or Siri. So it's not only kids, people are relating to this like Alexa or Siri as a person, as someone that they want to relate to, or they think that it's a she. So we know that this is how we relate to them, and the connection between us and technology getting closer and closer into some kind of a love story and a very, very tight connection. When we convey ideas via voice, we are conveying an emotional state, because when we have an emotional state, we change the way we breathe. We can breathe really low and very, very intense breathing. We have a level of energy in the voice, and how we talk is conveyed by the attention and the way we hold our body. So when we talk to someone, we convey emotions. And when we hear someone, we hear his emotions. So this connection is two-sided. And when we talk to devices, actually, they are usually listening to our emotions, and they are not conveying their emotions, but it's only yet. So people get knowledge and emotional connections when they are talking to people or to voice tech, and it's the same thing for us. So when we're talking to Siri and asking from her something, or when we're talking to the Google Home, we're not only getting the information, we're connecting and communicating. We know that people are using Siri, for example, as a therapist. So they come home and they talk to the Siri, maybe from the mobile, and talking to the Siri as a friend, and maybe as a counselor, and they want to tell them what's going on with them and really have conversations. And Apple said they are looking for engineers that knows this, understand psychology, because people are relating to devices this way. And in this research, about half a year ago, they wanted to see if we relate to virtual assistants as we relate to people. So when we talk to and interact with people, we are more aroused, and we have the GSR, the level of sweat in our hands are getting higher, because we're more emotional. So when people are talking to virtual assistants, it's the same thing. They get more aroused, and especially when it's the first time when they're talking to this device. Alexa got the highest grade on emotional connection in this case. And when Alexa told this joke, was the highest level of emotion in this connection. And it's the same with people. When we are laughing, when we are connecting, we are more aroused, and we have a better emotional connection. So the virtual assistants can understand what we know about emotions. So the same that we understand, and when we call our friends, and maybe our very best friend is like answering with a very low hello, we know that maybe she's sad. And the same they know for us. So they know when we're in a more energetic and more happy and more content, and they know when we're mad and so forth. So they can recognize that. So this could add a more human quality to the way that we discuss, especially when they're understanding us. In conveying emotions, the virtual assistants are not there yet, but they're getting there. It could improve the customer experience, because when a brand is getting this, understands his the mood of his clients, they know how to relate to it and to connect with it, and maybe offer him when he is really low, maybe you would like chocolate ice cream, for example. Maybe that will make you more like happier, maybe. So the connection between consumers and brands is getting tighter. And maybe when we have this in cars, maybe we'll have when we drive and we're getting more angry, and maybe somebody cuts us in the road and we're getting really intense, the assistant could really understand that we're not as usual and maybe prevent reckless driving and maybe prevent accidents, even if he could calm us or maybe even know just that we are very intense. And it's not only that they can hear us, they can hear the way our body works. So it could help in health. So there are lots of applications out there measuring the health of people from their breathing and the way they talk to these devices. But not only that, it could measure the mental health of a person from his mood and the way the mood changes, because they know how we are usually, and when we are going down, maybe for a long period or a short period, it could help us with mental health issues too. But let's imagine this case, that you're having an argument or a fight with your spouse we're sitting on your living room, and you don't want this very intimate moment to be shared with anyone. You don't want anyone to listen to you, and surely you don't want anyone to give you advice while you're fighting. But apparently this already is available. Alexa and Google Home has the capacity to really understand when couples are struggling and they're arguing, and they can even predict if they have any issues in their relationship, and they can interpret the arguments. And more than that, it could help us in a way to navigate this very complex connection, and to be like in a relationship coaching. It could help us in marriage counseling. So they understand really deeply what are the emotions between two people and when they are changing, and even predict if we're going to fight from the change of the energy and the change of the emotions of these two people. So it's getting more and more emotional, and the virtual assistant is not only somebody that could understand us, it could really even solve problems for us, which are very complex problems. So I guess that you all wonder what is the meaning of these devices in our house, and what it means about privacy, and what is human and not human, and what we want them to understand or not. So researchers already created an answer for you. Maybe they created an AI to hide the emotional layer from the AI. So currently there is the speech to text technology, and it conveys all the content and what we're saying, and there is another layer of information, which is the emotional part of what we're saying, and they're trying to delete this part from what is conveyed to these devices. So we know that we use these powers of emotion when we talk to people. If you want to convince someone, if you want to make him calm, if you want to get something from him, we use our emotions. So the word emotion is from the word motion, because we are moving, we are having actions based on what we're feeling, right? So we know that this could change the way that we interact. It could change the way we act upon the world. So emotional impact is very strong in advertising. We all know that when we see ads, if it's very sad or it's very touching or very makes us happy or feel something, we will react to it, because the intent of the ad is to be memorized, and that we will do an action based on it, in many cases to buy something. And when customers feel something to the brand and when are engaged with the brand, they are more connected with the brand, they are more loyal to it. So brands who want to have a better connection with their clients needs to think about the voice applications capabilities and about voice tech in general, because it's the only technology that could really relate to people in a very emotional, deep level. And we know that this will impact and will influence the way we buy. So the buying behavior is connected to what we feel, and our emotions will make us buy more or less of in more money, so forth. So this is a very substantial thing for a brand or a company who wants to succeed. They want this connection. They want something which is more close and intimate with their clients, and voice could relate to them much more easily. We already know from a UK and US study with children from 6 to 16 that they're already buying online, and they tend to buy furthermore with Alexa when they get older. So they are getting used to these technologies, and it's really obvious for them to just ask Mom Alexa, buy us something, and then it gets to their door. So it's the connection is getting closer and closer, and the impacts and the actions that we're doing upon this connection is getting further. So how do we design the connection between the devices and our end clients, our end users? So we need to design this interaction the best we can in order to get the results that we're eager to get. So when we design the assistant persona, so in many cases when people think about a persona in design, they're thinking about the end user. So who is this person using our application? Who is the one that is doing actions upon the skill or the application? In this case, I'm talking about the assistant, the Siri, the Alexa, the Google Home, the Cortana one. So who is this Cortana that is talking to us? And when brands are building something for their end clients, they need to build something that will relate to them and will represent them, the brand and the company really well, and will be like the best presenter for their end clients, and they need to have a connection with them. So how do we design this persona? So when we're thinking about persona, we're thinking who will talk to the user and what kind of a connection will they have. So if we're designing, for example, a sports running skill, for example, or application, or an action, we can just think about who is this trainer, who is the one who's running with us, okay? So it could be a very professional runner, a very known runner that will be our trainer. It could be a very good friend that we are running and gossiping while we're doing so. And the relationship that will be built upon this connection, who is talking to us, will be different. So the question is not who he is, it's more than that. The question should be what we want the users to feel. What are the emotional connection? What is the emotions that arise while we're talking to them? What is the meaning of talking to them deeply for us? When we're talking to this very known runner, we feel underneath him and he's like our guru, our mentor, okay? And when we're talking to our friends, we have rapport, so in the same level, and we can relate to them much easier, right? So the brand needs to say, what are the values you want to convey in this emotional connection? So how do we really make the users feel differently? We can change the persona of the voice. We can change the type of the voice, the tone, the words we're choosing, the pace we're using, the energy level, the style. We can use all these characteristics of the voice in order to convey this feeling and connection. So let's imagine that you're creating something for your kid, and you want him to really relate to this skill, and you want it to be very engaged with it. You'll need to build a persona of someone that he would like to relate to, as someone that he would like to talk to. So let's say maybe you'll decide that it's going to be another kid. Maybe it's going to be someone that he would love to play with. So let's imagine that. So I want you to listen to this part and to see, maybe you can recognize who he is and how can this game be with this kind of persona. So I hope that you recognize that this is Bart. So when he says this, I didn't do it, nobody saw me do it, can't prove anything. It's very fast and he's jumping up and down, and we know that this is a small energetic kid, and a very like, he's doing lots of stuff while he's talking, that's for sure. So when we want to convey something, it's really easy for us to recognize that as a person and to recognize who is in front of us. And we can convey all these values of the brand from the voice of this persona. And we need to build something which is exactly for our users. So let's imagine what could be, if we already have that, what could be the future of our connection of this love story with technology. So let's say you came from work and you had a very, very bad day at work, and you did a mistake and everybody's upset with you, and your boss is saying that he might fire you for it, and you're really afraid and intense. And let's say you're coming home and somebody is waiting for you, and you're telling him about what all the things that had happened, and he's just listening really carefully, and he knows what to say, and you're saying that you're so really, really afraid that you'll get fired and what will happen, and all the emotions is like burning in you, and he's just there listening to you, and you're saying, I don't know what to do, just tell me what you think. And then you get this answer. Listen carefully.
Fear is the path of the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
So I really hope that you recognize this guy, Yoda, of course. And I chose Yoda because Yoda has this grammar which is very specific to him, and he speaks in a very specific way. But not only that, he has his words and the way he talks, and his voice, and he, you know that he's really a grown-up or an old person or a personality. So you have all of that. But in the future, you could select who will be this friend that you talk to. It could be Yoda, it could be Beyonce. You will decide. So currently we don't have that much assistance, but we'll have more and more in the future, and each brand could bring its own assistant, its own personality that you relate to. And the conversation will be really natural. You just talk to it and he answers really naturally, and you will be more like two humans connecting. And he will have a personality, he will know you. So when you're usually a very happy person and now you're down, he will see the level is changed, and he will see that currently you're sadder, or maybe you're happier, and maybe you need something from him, and he will never ask from you to take care of his cat when he is abroad or something. He never asks for something, he's just there for you. And he will convey more character than we currently hear from the accents here, which are very flat. He will be someone that we want to joke with. He will be someone that we want to see football with. So we have a friend which is like out there, and he's coming with us from home to when we're going to our car and to our office. He's with us all the time, and he's like a companion and a friend that really understands and relate to us. And he will react to our emotions, and he will convey emotions really human-like, and we'll be connected to him as well. So I guess that the story of connection between us and technology will get closer and closer as AI gets better and better. So this is what I imagine will be the future of voice. So I hope you really enjoyed what we had right now, and it was fun for you. And if you want to know more, I want to invite you to join our course, thevoicecourse.co, that I co-created. And if you want to know more about voice, I think it's a good opportunity. And I want to thank you for joining me, and goodbye. Bye-bye.